Hello, 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 and welcome, welcome, welcome. Here I am coming at you with yet another one, but who am I? Who is she? Who is me? Okay, so I am Indigo Sage, just in case you didn't know. All right, and I love tarot, and I come down here to do tarot. It's a hobby of mine. I love it. I do it when I have time. All right, now you can find me across social media with the hashtag unapologetically sage, indigo sage tarot, and also indigo sage reviews, which is my second YouTube channel where it's just all about shows that are being reviewed with, my opinion and all of it. So don't forget to go over there and check that out. There's no tarot over there. It is, like I said, just my reviews of the shows, but it'll be worth your time. So let's get started. Let's get started. So this reading is not about any housewife shows, but we are still in the Bravo TV, Bravo celebrity atmosphere, okay? And it is that of what Andy likes to call the Charmers. It is a show called Southern Charm. This is now any of you who have been watching, you already know. You already know. It's been very, very good and juicy this season. Um, it is about Austin and Taylor. And, I'm going to be honest, when I saw the previews leading up to it, I was like, oh my gosh, they must be desperate for views, desperate for ratings. This is going to be played out. It's going to be so stupid. I was thinking that either they did or they didn't. Um, and I just didn't think it would be juicy. You know, I thought that eventually at some episode, they're just going to say, yeah, we did it. Please forgive us. And then it was going to be over. And then it was going to be like filled with the fluff that Craig puts in his pillows or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Which there's nothing wrong with him liking sewing. Okay. Um, but I have been pleasantly surprised. It it is everything I just said, all of that. Did they or didn't they, like I have right here? Did they or didn't they? You know what I'm saying? But there's been a couple of things thrown in the wrench or whatever it's called, like throwing a wrench in it, you know? And I was like, we kind of turn in different corners. Another episode comes and it peels back another layer and yet another layer, and then, it I it has my head spinning, even though it's the same basic story, but different things are happening in every episode where I'm like, no, she didn't. No, they didn't. No, he didn't. So I had to do tarot on these two. Okay. Now, let me warn you guys right now that, well, first of all, I have a very nice layout. I did how I was led, and it turned out beautiful, very informative. And it is based around the question of did they or didn't they? What, have sex? Okay, don't we all want to know if they had sex? They keep saying they didn't. Um, and everybody else believes they did. Shep has his head in the ground like the ostrich bird that puts the head in the ground, just bury it. So, but I said, you know what? I have a way that we all can find out. Okay, I'll do the work and I'll tell you guys. And that's what we're getting ready to do now. So, like I said, I just asked that question and let the spirit guides take me. I used 4 different decks. I'll explain them as I get to them and read them. So, I will say that in here, one of the decks I used, there is some nudity, frontal nudity. Okay. So, if you don't want to see any frontal nudity on a tarot card, then, I'm letting you know that right now that you will. Your eyes will be busted. But them busted eyes it'll be worth it because that deck says a lot. Okay, which is why I chose to use it. With the whole combination of the decks that I use, which the very first one is my deck, it tells a story and explains a lot. It really does. So Then, at some point, I use the tarot deck that I said has nudity in it, and that brings it right on home. Okay, we can practically see what they was doing. So, if you want to know what they was doing, did they or didn't they, then you will stay tuned and busted eyes and all. Come on. But first, let me introduce you guys to these people, just in case someone's watching this who has no clue who Southern Charm is or who Austin and Taylor is, or maybe not even know who Bravo is or what Bravo is. That's cool, because you could just be here just for tarot. But let me give you a little bit of background so that we're all on the same page. Okay, so Austin is a dude. He's in this picture. He's a guy on a show called Southern Charm, and it's basically a cast of, I think, about 8 or 10 of them. Some of the cast rotates, but there have been main characters, and it's around a group of friends in a city, much like the Real Housewife shows. And he didn't start out, on the first season or the second season. I actually think he came, maybe was like a friend of on the third season and then became permanent on the fourth and going forward, or either friend on the second, whatever it was, but he was slowly brought in, all right? And I'm gonna be honest, in the very beginning, I was gonna say when I first met him, I ain't never met him, but when I first saw him, I didn't like him. I wasn't here for it. And to me, he seemed my first impressions of him, honestly, you guys, was that he wanted to be Shep. And in this season, or either it was when Shep was interviewed, he did say that Austin wants to be him. Um, and I remember hearing him say that before in a previous season too, when he was getting a haircut by that girl who they both were trying to date. But I think she liked Austin. I can't remember her name. She was so cute and nice. But anyway, Shep has always said that, like, here or there, if it has come up in a way. And I believe it. And even more so now. Okay. But the cast, and including Austin, they like come from money. So they're kind of trust fund babies. Now, I don't know if Austin truly is 100% a trust fund baby, because at some point his parents tell him to make his own money. And so he came up with a beer. I don't know if his beer is doing good. Every time Andy asks him about it, he says it's doing good. So that's great. Um, so I don't know if he's a 100% trust fund baby. But anyway, so that's who he is. He dates women time and time again, breaks up with all of them or don't even get too serious with them. It seems like to me, as soon as um, one of them wants to get super serious with him, he cuts it off, breaks it off, and runs the other direction, and leaving a trail of tears from all of these women who he has hurt. He's like a serial playboy. And that's another thing that reminded me of Shep, because Shep is like the resident from the show point point of view. Shep is the one who's like a serial dater, playboy, whatever. He doesn't even Shep. Shep is Shep. Shep is a ladies' man. He his weakness is ladies. So it seemed like to me he was like a junior Shep, which I think at some point they teased him and called him that. But anyway, let's move on. So, who the hell is Shep? You might be wondering. If you're not familiar, Shep is right here. He is the gentleman on the right side. Now, he's been on the show from the inception of it, and he's been a very integral, important cast member of the show. All right. I would even venture out and say if he was ever not on the show, like kicked off or quit or something like that, the viewership would probably drop. And I'm serious. Not that, in my opinion, he's so great, although I do believe he's so great, meaning as a cast member, not as like a person. And no offense against him, I just never met him, so I wouldn't be able to say that. But he is a great addition to the show. Like, he's a real great hot mess. He is a hot mess, and he knows it for the most part. And sometimes he acts like he doesn't know it or see it, and then other times he doesn't care that he is. I mean, his ex-girlfriend asked him on the show, did he like it? When did he have fun or whatever? Did it feel good when he cheated on her? And you know what this mofo said? He says, sometimes, yeah, it did. Oh, big hot mess. Big hot mess. I'm trying not to yell. Big hot mess, okay? That is a big hot mess. And yes, I like to see it. I want to see it. As long as it ain't in my life, I gotta watch it on TV. So anyway, Shep is the one who has been around, and he is a trust fund baby. I don't think he's ever worked a day in his life. He travels, he does whatever he wants, pretty much. All right. So yes, this is the guy who people are saying that Austin wants to be like. Continuing on. Now, in classic form, all right, this is a picture of Taylor, who Shep used to date. And Taylor apparently is some like super Christian, and she goes by her faith. Her faith in God, and she's a good girl, an angel, and probably, Virgin Mary and everything else. All right, she's just such a good girl. And my first thing is, if all that's true, what the hell is she doing with Shep? Like, he is a dog. Like, he's bad and she's good, and what the hell are they doing together? Anyway, they was together, and really that's where she came from. Like, she was not a cast member of the show. She was just his girlfriend. So that was that. And then eventually, like, after she was introduced as his girlfriend, then the following season, they integrated her with the group of ladies who were cast members. And then there's this season. So it hasn't been that long. But and this season she's a full-blown cast member. Okay, for a good reason. I mean, shit, when you mess around with your boyfriend's best friend or whatever, and let me not say boyfriend because they did break up. Okay, so let me move this along. Right here to the right of your screen, we have Olivia. Olivia is the one that Austin took seriously most recently. That's how I'm gonna put it. Because again, Austin is a serial dater, so I'm trying to like try to express the level of importance she played throughout all of the women that we seen Austin with. And I really didn't think she was that high on the totem pole, because he clearly seems, every season, every time, all the time, he is bothered and forever will be bothered by Madison. Okay, his panties be in a bunch over Madison. But anyway, so Olivia, they were seriously dating, and he was wanting to be in a relationship with her, and then she had to think about it at first, and that was one season. Then the next season, at the beginning, it started with her saying that she wanted to be in a relationship, and then he said no, that he wasn't ready to be in a relationship, and he just kept going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, stringing her along. And so then finally she began dating other people, and then he got mad and said, "Who is that she's with?" At one time at a party, and he was all upset, and she thought it was funny and cute, and whatever. But it was just all about Olivia and Austin, which is what we thought, until one day it all came out, and ish hit the fan, and we all found out that Taylor and Austin were sneaking and fooling around behind Shep's and Olivia's back. Okay, but this is supposedly and everything after Taylor was not with Shep, and after supposedly Austin explained to Olivia that he was not ready to be in a relationship with her. Okay. Okay. And I'm gonna tell you one thing that was awful about this is that Olivia can't seem to forgive Taylor that quickly anyway, because first of all, I understand, we all can understand that. But the reason why that's being highlighted so much is because Shep has already like forgiven Austin, and some people are acting like, oh, get over it, but that's nothing to get over. And the thing is, a person who's hurt, You can't tell them how long they can be hurt or how short they can be hurt. Like if a person's hurt, that's them. That's their feelings. You cannot tell a person how to feel. All right? And that's something that's wrong with this society. People need to stop that. That's why people be snapping. I'm going to tell y'all, because people be holding in their feelings because they're made to feel like they shouldn't feel. And so then they hold in the feelings until one day they do what? Snap. So everybody need to knock it off and let people feel how they want to feel so we can get less of this, you know, snapping. Um, anyway, because, and I'm saying that, and I'm getting real serious for just a second, because our rate of unaliveness, people who unalive themselves, I feel like the rate would go down if we wouldn't shame people of how they feel or make them feel bad to go seek therapy and help. If we would knock that off, then I think that people would, their survival rate of that, you know, passing that way would be greater. The survival rate would be greater. People would do it less, is what I'm saying, if people would stop shaming people for having feelings. So anyway, Olivia is upset about it, and she made a statement and said, "How could you, hit on him or be with him when at the same time I was crying about him and you were comforting me and telling me not to give up because you know that he truly loves me. You told me that. And you were telling me to give him another chance. Don't give up on him because you know he truly loves me. So how could you then, while you're saying that, be sneaking around behind our back and hooking up with them?" So I totally get it why Olivia is upset, because not only are they supposed to be anyway, the show this season is painting them as best friends, but not only that, um, she's telling her to be with him. He really loves you. I know he truly loves you. You are the one he wants to be with, and she's been with him. That's crazy and sick in the head, in my opinion. So let's go. So like I said, those two hooked up, and that is what this reading is about, because they at first was looked upon like, okay, they're coming clean, all right. But then the first problem was that Austin apparently made a pact with Taylor to not mention any of the hookup to any of them when the season began rolling, okay. And so apparently he slipped up and I believe told Craig, or either told one of the other guys, and then Craig told them that they had hooked up or whatever. And so then it was brought to the table and they were questioned. And Taylor said no to Olivia. No, 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 no. I swear to God, I swear to God, I swear to God, no. And then Austin was questioned, and Austin said, "Yep, you know what? Yep." And so then, like that following episode, Taylor was confronted again and was like, "You lied," because he said, "Yeah." And so then Taylor was pissed and admitted to it and said she lied because her and Austin made a pact not to tell them. So then Taylor was upset with Austin about telling. So it was this whole big old thing. And now, as they continue to be questioned, now what's coming into questioning is that their timeline is different. Each of them, as they are separately being asked these questions of how this came about and what have you guys done and how intimate have you guys been with each other, they have been caught lying several times over and over and over. So at this point, the most recent episode, it seems like most of the people at that table, they in Jamaica, y'all. To which if I was in Jamaica, I'd be so relaxed 420 all the time if I was in Jamaica, to where I would not even be arguing about nothing. My feet would be in that water in the beach and I'd be chilling, okay? Watching the sunset and just having a relaxed, calm, cool, and what collected time. All right, because that's just me. I'd rather be so chill than worry about any of that. And especially on vacation, like, even if it had happened to me, like, gone somewhere, bye Felicia, go away from me with this. Like, I would be so unbothered. But anyway, this is not about me. Only a girl can dream, right? Um, so anyway, they are constantly arguing, and on that trip, it's come to the majority of those friends, the cast members, mind they have had sex, and they deny that they had sex. Okay, um, and it was really heavy this last episode. I think it was episode 14. I don't want to be wrong. I know it's season 9. I think episode 14. But anyway, it was very, very heavy. They got into it. Olivia was saying that she is hurt and she can be hurt. And by the way, her brother, a few episodes back, just passed. And they were only like 2 or 3 years apart. And she was really close to him. And so then she allowed Austin to come back in her life because he too has lost a sister. So he knows how it is. And he came in her life to comfort her. All right. So it's really weird how some scenes Olivia has with Austin and she's talking to him and the group is there and they'll cut to Taylor who's looking at her and wondering what are they talking about? What are they over there talking about? Okay? And not only does she does that when he talks to Olivia, um Olivia did it when Austin was talking to Madison. He had a scene where he was talking to Madison and she's like, "What are they over there talking about?" And I'm like, this is well, it's crazy. Anyway, um, and then one time at the table here on this vacation, let me just say this before I get started, you guys, because I'm gonna refresh you guys' memory for those of you who already know. And then for those of you who don't know, this is new information that you need to know, okay? This is why I needed to ask this question and we needed to find out. But at the table on this same vacation, because this vacation has been at least about 3 or 4 episodes, okay? Um, they say something about Austin when they sat down for dinner. They said something about Austin being such a playboy and getting around a group, and he's had sex with 3 of the women at the table. And it's funny because there's one black girl on that show, and her name is Vanita, and they show Vanita in her confessional, and she says, "Hmm, 3 out of the 4 of us." She said, "Well, Madison is his ex, so we know that. Olivia is his ex, so we know that." She said, "And then there's me." She said, "And I know that I didn't have sex with him." She said, "So there's only one other person left." And she just leaves it. They cut right there, but we know that it's Taylor. That's the only other person left. It was only 4 women, and that was them. That was it. So now, now. Okay, let's break it all the way. What? Damn, down. All right, come on, y'all. So, like I told you guys, I use my deck first. And when I say my deck, I call it the Ultimate Clarifiers deck. And they are cards that have images that I created and I channeled spirit. And, each of them has their own unique message. All right. And so they are the ultimate clarifiers deck for me because I made them, I channeled them, I know exactly what they mean, every single portion of them with every single time that I use them. They are unique to me. All right. And so therefore, with that being said, you don't have to see the picture. What you're seeing is the back of the card. Okay. And then on the right of it are the people that we're talking about. Okay. We want to know, did they or didn't they? So the first card that came out of the deck was Workshop Credit. And that again is Workshop Credit. Austin said Taylor came on to him, and I believe it because this card says this person has worked hard and seeks recognition for it and is determined to get it. But on the flip side, the card tells Taylor it's time to examine why they worked so hard for so long without getting the proper credit she deserves. That actually says more about her than about Shep. Shep is aware of his despicable behavior and makes no qualms about it. Taylor was the one blind and abused. Her comfort zone is being a savior to a playboy. When it fails, without missing a beat, she eases into victim mode without a second thought. The second card was, and when I asked my deck, the Ultimate Clarifiers deck, let me say the question was, tell me the story. Tell me the story. That was the question. Now, my overall theme for this reading is, did they or didn't they have sex? But what my cards are doing is telling the story. So this is how we're setting the ground basis, all right? This is the truth of the matter, of their feelings and emotions as they were hooking up, as they said. So the second card is simple juice drinks. And it has a picture like of, like the lemonade or whatever, but it says hiding addiction under it. That's what it says. What it refers to is hiding an addiction and codependency, which enables each other. This card tells me that both of them are addicted to toxic relationships that they know will not work. Austin has a record of stringing women along until they fall in love deeply, then he sabotages the relationship and skates away on a technicality of some sort. Austin knew damn well. He knew damn well that there was no possible way that he and Taylor, which Taylor is the ex-girlfriend of Shep, who is his best friend, all right, there's no way that they could ever be accepted amongst their friend group of being in a relationship, nor the hundreds of thousands of opinions and judgments of public court. Okay? He knew damn well that wasn't going to fly. So he knew, so this is toxic to know that that's not going to be, it's not going to end up well, and then you want to go into it anyway. That's toxic. And the same thing for her too. So that's a toxicity that attracted him. Okay? He entertained her need to be acknowledged, validated, and recognized for her hard work as a saint, savior, and victim of Shep. All right? But Austin knew as soon as it got too close for comfort with her that he could skate on with the fact that neither of them want to hurt Shep. Okay? Make no mistake, they didn't care about Olivia. I knew that from the start because I couldn't remember when the viewers ever knew that they were best friends. My beliefs were confirmed when the last episode showed Taylor telling her brother that she didn't know why it's such a big deal that she wanted a romantic relationship with Austin because, quote unquote, it's not like they were ever in a relationship anyway. All right. Um, and for what it's worth, she told no lies right there. She told no lies right there. But Olivia overheard it because their hotel rooms are right next to each other. And this is like the second or third time I've seen something like this on a Bravo show where people are on vacation, they get into an argument, or not even necessarily an argument, but their hotel rooms are next to each other. Someone is talking on their cell phone about what's going on. They're on the balcony, and the other person up there has either they're on the balcony as well, or the screen is open and they hear their conversation. Um, but this one, Olivia took off and went to her room and said, "How fucking stupid can you be? I can hear you. Our rooms are right next to each other, and F you," or something like that. And then she stormed out. All right, moving on. So the third card said, "This relationship needs healing." And it was in reverse. This was the only one in reverse in this whole entire reading with all the cards I used, okay? The only one in reverse. This relationship needs healing. This card means someone wants to heal the relationship and the other may or may not. But in reverse, it suggests this is a facade. Taylor is acting like she wants to be with someone who appreciates her, and Austin is pretending that he is that person. All cap, by both of them, really. But Taylor would have allowed Austin to string her along for two reasons. Number one, to hurt Shep. Number two, to untimely, okay, become the victim everlasting. That's how I feel about Taylor. She likes to be the victim. She likes to come in and act innocent and act like she's saving someone, which is why she picks men who are, you know, go from woman to woman to woman, or just known to be abusive or toxic in any other way. She picks them, and she tries to like help them and save them, or that she thinks she can help them and save them, whatever. And then they do her wrong, and then she's the victim. And so it's just a cycle that she likes to be in. Hence, she's with Austin and she's in this situation, you know. So whatever. Let's keep going. Now, the fourth card was, let's talk about the magic of your perks, okay? Right now, it may appear that someone is benefiting from negative or low vibrating behavior. Rest assured, the universe will even everything out. So, what I'm saying right here is that this card is representing someone benefiting from negative behavior, okay? And Austin was talking mess about Shep to Taylor. Taylor went to him first for comfort and was saying and was talking mess about Shep. And Austin joined in and confirmed it. Whatever she, feels like he was doing, Austin confirmed it. Yes, he cheated on you. He treated you bad. We even saw a scene where Shep did cuss at her and call her a fucking idiot or something like that. So he was verbally abusive as well. And so Austin is like, yep, 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 he did it. And he's doing all of that to try to hook Taylor. They say hook, sinker, and hook and get them, or whatever that's called. And what I'm saying is that he didn't even have to do that. Little did he know he didn't have to do that, because she likes the toxic stuff. All right. So overall, Austin is a hater on Shep anyway. He's just a hater. He's been a hater of Shep for a long time. Long time. So, and like I said before, I feel like I feel like he wishes he was Shep. I do. And I feel like he just thinks that Shep gets away. Like, they both are serial daters, but for whatever reason, the public never forgives Austin for it, and he's gotten a bad rap and bad everything for it. But Shep does the same thing, even worse. Like, he does, like, even, well, I guess they both have been caught cheating on their girlfriend, so it's the same. But for whatever reason, people don't hate Shep. Shep even had a spin-off show called Relationship, okay, where it was about him dating. It was a dating show designed just for him, and I watched it. I watched it. So anyway, Austin doesn't understand why. Austin's jealousy of Shep sometimes comes from, a little bit of it stems from them having the same behavior, but yet, it's not accepted from Austin, and Austin is ostracized sometimes for it. They want to hang him for it, yet it's accepted and even celebrated. All right, his low vibrational bad behavior, Shep, is celebrated by giving him like a dating show, So anyway, I can see that. Let's continue. Now, this one was funny to me. This is the final card from this deck, the Ultimate Clarifiers deck. And it said, all fired up for nothing. Intimate desires. And I was like, huh, okay. So I went and looked at the the meaning for it, and it says someone in this situation is wanting more intimacy than the other. It can also refer to a person wanting a relationship and the other does not. And that's point blank, period. I believe Taylor wanted more, Austin did not. Okay? Okay. Now, let's move on out of this section. This section did very good in laying the ground for emotionally how they came about hanging out and hooking up. All right? It's toxic. It's toxic. They have a codependency like this. They are attracted to toxic relationships. They knew it was not going to be able to work, which is why they kept trying to do it in secret. And they kept making it even more toxic, because at one point when Shep was talking to Austin, and Austin was saying something about when they first hooked up or the dates of when she spent the night and all this kind of stuff, he said, so you did all of that and then you came and traveled with me? And I remember this. The break that they had between filming shows, Shep traveled around the world. He invited Taylor to do it. And this part was cold. Taylor had to quit her job to do it, and everybody told her not to do that, and she did it anyway, and then they broke up. And so then her trip part was, of course, cut short. And so Shep, traveling the world all by himself, he got lonely and invited Austin. And I remember this because I follow Shep on his Instagram, and I remember seeing the pictures. He came down there and visited him, I think, when they were in Australia. I think he did one or two countries with Shep, and then Austin came back because of his beer, had an important meeting or date on something with the beer. So this is what Shep was referring to. He said, so you guys hooked up And then you came and traveled with me in another country and didn't say a word to me about it. And then Austin started stuttering. Okay? So their timeline is messed up. Both of their timelines are messed up. And this just laid a nice little platform to see why they were even attracted to each other in the first place. They're more attracted to the toxicness of it all. So let's continue. All right, you all. I would like to ask you at this point to please click like and subscribe. And yes, the second half of this reading is coming right up right after this. And this is the portion where, again, I need to warn you guys, just in case you don't want to see any nudity. The tarot cards that that's coming up, they are of the Casanova deck, and there is nudity involved. Now, I have marked my videos all the time that they are not for kids, so it shouldn't be anyone under the age of 18 here anyway. All right, but if you're easily offended, then please, turn away or close your eyes and just listen. All right, because it really does come to, it gives us an idea of what they were doing. Okay, so click like, click subscribe, and come on, let's get to it. So I chose 4 different decks. I was led to them. All right. Normally it's just one deck, maybe 2 for clarification, but this one was 4. So these next 2, there was only one card chosen from the deck. All right. So this deck is called the Romantic Angels Oracle, and it says healing family issues. All right. It says your love life benefits as you forgive your parents. You'd benefit from releasing old anger towards one or both of your parents. That's because your feelings about your parents influence your choice of romantic partner and the way in which you deal with relationships. Okay. And the first person I thought about that this card was probably aimed towards is Taylor. So let's dive deep into the secrets that they keep. I believe this card is more for Taylor and her family. Anytime I see her and her immediate family, it appears to me that they treat her like she is a super thin piece of glass that would shatter if a feather landed on it. Okay? She's treated like she's so fragile. As the audience, we have been beaten over the head with the fact that Taylor Ann Green's family are super Christian, and she's a good girl with good faith. In the latest episode, Taylor gets frustrated and calls her brother, and he tells her, "What would Jesus do?" She says tearfully, "Keep quiet." And he says, "And what are you going to do?" And she said, "Keep quiet," followed by her brother proclaiming, "You are not wrong, Taylor." Now, I'm not criticizing her faith, but that was weird to me. I can't quite understand her family dynamics, but for them to keep telling her she did absolutely nothing wrong is absurd. And I'm positive there's some deep family issues there. Most likely something she has shared with Austin and possibly not Shep. Okay? Because they claim to be so close to each other, and it started last year. I started seeing it last year, their claims of being so close to each other. And it was at the reunion. And, I just feel like she shares things, especially like whatever may be going on with her family, her feelings there. She probably most likely is sharing them with Austin. Okay. And that's part of their quote unquote closeness, because at one point she did say something about she can share things with Austin that she can't share with anybody else. She trusts him that he'll basically keep her secrets and not tell anybody. Okay, continuing on. All right, now the next card, the next deck is Love Oracle, and I only got one card from that deck as well. I was only led to get one to kind of sum it up, paint us a picture. Okay, because I really did ask Spirit to just paint a picture and let us know, did they or didn't they? All right, so I was instructed to get one card from this deck as well, Love Oracle. And what came up was Girl Talk, Time with Friends, Moving On, Happily Single, Living in the Moment, Having fun. So this tells me that that is how this started and eased and went on into being more. It was under the guise of talking and relating to each other. Her talking and spilling her guts and her feelings, and him listening and validating her feelings, okay? Which is something I'm sure she did not get from Shep, or if she got it from Shep, Shep delivered it in Shep's way. Just like when we saw them in that activity, playing a game, they were a team, and Shep yelled out, "You're a fucking idiot." And of course, all the women gathered and said, "You do not talk to her like that. Do not talk to her like that. That is abuse." And they rushed her back to the room, and it was like their power forces joined, like they did a Care Bear stare countdown and held hands and wouldn't let Shep. Shep wanted to come in there and talk to her. They was like, "Not right now." And I'm not saying that that was right or wrong. The thing is, she admitted that he talks to her like that all the time. And then we cut to Shep over there with the men, and he was like, that just means I love you. He said, the way I talk is I love you. My family talk that way to each other all the time. So my point in saying that is because he called her a fucking idiot, and he said that was him showing love, and that his family talks to each other like that all the time. So even if Taylor has spoken to Shep about whatever may be going on that's challenging her in life, the way that he responded, I'm sure, was a little rough and not what she wanted to hear. And so then when she compares Austin, she talks to Austin, Austin is not responding in a rough, hardcore way. I'm sure his response doesn't include any cuss words, unless he's saying fuck Shep, all right? Because he's a Shep hater. Make no mistake. But let's dive deep into the secrets they keep. One thing the both of them has stood on, and it ain't business, they have stood on how easy it is to talk to each other. They've been heard saying they have great conversations. Taylor has said before that Austin is one of her best friends because she can tell him anything and trust him to not tell anyone. Now, when she said that it was during the last season's reunion, okay, that's when she said that, I thought it was weird that she was seated right next to Austin, which reminds me, I wanted to show you guys something, okay? So take a look at this. Check out Austin's body language. This is season 8 reunion. Taylor's sitting next to him. Of course, Shep made her cry, and Austin's hand is right on her shoulder, pulling her in close, whispering to her some sweet nothings in her ear or whatever. And then look at this. Taylor admits to first hanging out with Austin directly after season 8's reunion, while they were still in New York, while the unsuspecting Austin gave a completely different situation as their first time hanging out. Okay. During the season 9 show, these two were on separate occasions with different people saying and quote unquote admitting when they first hung out, and it got, I don't know, weird or whatever. And they had two different situations, but look at this body language. Her legs are even folded toward Austin. She's wearing, it looks like lingerie. Okay, lingerie. It looked like a see-through little old tulle dress, only underwear on. It's like, okay, come on, Lynn, come on. So anyway, that's just stuff that I noticed. I noticed all of that, and it was weird to me. I didn't just notice it right now. I noticed it when it happened last year. It was weird to me, all of this. But let's keep going. Now, as I said before, and this is the last warning, all right? You can close your eyes right now because the Casanova Tarot deck is coming up next, and this is where we dive into the naked truth of it all, okay? Okay. So, on this deck, I did a little past, present, future, interaction tarot spread. Okay, so we have here the past for both of them. This is the question of did they or didn't they have sexual relations, all right? Because in the very beginning, my deck, Ultimate Clarifier's deck, kind of laid down the groundwork for what was going on, their thoughts and emotion stuff. And then we had the cards, oracle decks in the middle just now, to where it kind of also laid the ground of what they were doing. Taylor was confiding in him about family issues and why she chooses the guys that she chooses. It may be family pressure, you know what I'm saying? Because like I did say now, Shep is a all of these people have money, but Shep is a oh gosh, whatever you call it, where he just got money and don't have to work, you know. So we have no idea what kind of family pressure was put on her to be with him. But she spoke about that with Austin. And then there was the other one that said girl talk. Now Austin's not a girl, but he sat up there and listened like he was. Okay. So now I wanted to get just very specific with past, present, and future and energy. And it represents their sexual nature of the friendship. Okay. Because we all want to know. So you can't hide from the tarot. Oh, we all want to know. Oh, oh. All right. Past was represented by 10 of Cups. All right. That's a beautiful, lovely card. Okay. But you guys know, those of you who have looked at my readings, listened to my readings, you know I'm very big on imagery. So look at the imagery. Past. This imagery being the way that it is, these people right here, they are making out. They made out way before, I believe they made out the reunion night that they hung out, okay? And possibly even before that. You want to know why? Because this card represents the past. It represents the past, okay? So there's no telling when they first made out, which is why both of them they don't want to admit to it, which is why both of them had different times and situations when they said that they first made out, because they're lying. And when they first made out, for all we know, she still may have been with Shep, and they know they couldn't say that. So when you split them up, and this is a tactic that police officers do as well when you're being interrogated, they don't interrogate y'all sitting side by side. They take you to different rooms. At least that's what it looked like on TV. And their stories weren't the same, so they're lying. The past is represented by a couple where they're making out, and 10 of Cups is pretty significant. So in this deck, this card highlights harmony, perfection, union, and positive outcome. However, the mask they adorn suggests that the meaning is limited to external appearance. So basically, the conversation went something like this. Austin says to Taylor, "You and Shep are not together anymore. He treated you awful, and you gave him so many chances, and he kept cheating on you. You don't owe him anything." Then Taylor said to Austin, "I know, right? And it's not like you and Olivia were in a relationship. You guys just dated." Then, according to Austin, Taylor went in for a huge kiss on his mouth, and that is what began the physical experience in their friendship. And he still insists they did not have sex. They simply made out. No harm done in his mind. Let's look at the next card. The card that represents the present, okay, is Two of Cups. And this deck, the Two of Cups, means passion, a couple, celebration, a toast. This is a scene that took place in a town known as City of Rebirth, all right? And this is a fact that I've got straight from the book that came with the deck. Because again, this is Casanova Tarot, all right? So they're in a city of rebirth. And if you look at the imagery, you can see they're still making out, all right? Being in the present position and seeing the couple in the picture making out yet again. But this time it is very far away and alone, yet in the middle of a town. It feels like a couple being at a gathering and sneaking off to go make out in a closet while the people outside of the room have no idea. And they are carrying on without them and worried about something else entirely. So basically, this card gave me the whole vibe of sneaking around and making out, or like if they are all out together, out to eat or hanging out, them two are secretly texting each other saying, "I'm about to leave. What are you about to do? Oh, you're about to leave too, 5 minutes later after me? Okay, let's meet at your house." You know what I'm saying? And then they both, they wait 5 minutes between each other leaving, and they both say, "Oh, I'm going home. I'm just going to crash. I'm tired. I'm going to," but secretly they're meeting at one of each other's house and they're making out or something like that. It just gives such with this card, with this couple making out in the middle of a courtyard, it just gives such a vibe of them playing in people's face, basically, sneaking around. All right. And that was in the present position. Okay. So let's keep going and see what the future holds. And let me also input that this past, present, future timeline for them, it is as to their relationship that they had, because currently I feel like it has ended. All right. So even though I'm using the word present, it's still past tense. It is referring to the chunk of time that they were messing around. So for the future reference, which I believe is in the present, All right, so I know it may be confused, but just bear with. So for the future of their relation as they had it, as they were, it's represented by the death card, okay, which represents the beginning and the end, a sudden event, surprise, the last embrace, the final kiss. This card feels like they are caught. Austin knows it. Taylor prayed that they wouldn't get caught, so she's going to play dumb and keep quiet. She runs to Austin one night after being rejected by Shep, and Austin wouldn't have sex with her, although he could have that night, okay? And they refer to this in the show. Shep is talking to Whitney and telling Whitney that after whatever event they all were at, that Taylor text wanted to come by and have sex. And Shep said no, that he didn't think that was a good idea. So she cussed him out and then text Austin and said, you know, some derogatory term about Shep. And then Austin and Taylor hung out, and Austin says that she wanted to quote unquote make out and go further, but he said no, and she was very pissed at him. Okay, they say all this season, so if you're watching this season, then you already know what I'm talking about, and if not, I'm just filling you in. So and really, I was thinking, ooh, that's cold. She got rejected twice in one night, honey. I know her little ego was busted. But she needs to not be trying to sex all the men in the group, because also, you guys, if you're watching this show, you remember she sent a nude photo to Whitney. For what? That makes no sense. All these men are friends and are in one friend group. Why are you trying to make your way around to all of them? That's weird to me, and that's skank. That is skanky, not holy. Anyway, so yeah, so back to Austin. He said that he could have that night. Now the reason why is this: the thrill is gone. Okay, Austin said no because the thrill is gone. Austin's desire for Taylor is dead, and he is playing sleep. Okay, he finally had to end up ghosting her, probably, I'm sure, because she wouldn't accept no for an answer. All right, and these are some of the things that they have admitted on the show. Okay, so let's keep going. The energy between them as it relates to their relationship that they had is represented by Knight of Pentacles. Okay, and some of the keywords for this card is opportunism, waiting for the right moment, bearer of gifts, restraint, and seriousness. So let me break this down in only the way that I can. All right. This card represents the energy of their relationship quite well. This is the order of which it went. All right. In my mind, anyway, as I see it, from having the door of opportunity open in New York to going back to Charleston and waiting for the right moment and exchanging meaningful gifts at some point, then realizing that they may look really bad in the public's eye if this were to come out, they began to restrain from continuing on in that manner. And when the group began to put the puzzle pieces together, shit got really real and became very serious when they realized how high the stakes were. That's when Taylor realized she couldn't trust Austin, because although he made her swear that they would stick to the same story of nothing happened, Austin would soon squeal like a monkey and tell the guys what they had done, which exposes Taylor as a big fat liar on a scarlet letter island of her own. So yes, it got serious because they were trying to get serious with each other at some point and pretended with the group like nothing ever happened. And it's even more stupid to me to pretend like nothing happened if you guys were actually talking to your family, each other's family, to see if they should move forward with having a serious relationship with each other. Because the thing about it is, if you care about each other or love each other that much, to where you're actually considering being in a monogamous and serious and real relationship with each other, where eventually it may lead to a family and being married, then if you're that serious about each other and you care that deeply for each other, why hide it? Especially if you feel like you're doing nothing wrong. Why hide it? That makes no sense. With them hiding it, it feels like it gives the energy of, we fucked one night and we just really don't want you guys to know. That's what it gives the energy of, not, oh, we were actually serious, we only got together because we seriously love each other. No, because if you seriously loved each other, then you could stand by it. You could stand on business. You could stand by it. So now, bottom line, none of these cards indicate they had sex. Okay, truth be told, none of these cards indicate that they had sex, sexual relations. None of them, okay? So, my conclusion is that I do not believe he had sexual relations with that woman, okay? But they came so close, meaning I believe he know what it smell like, what it feel like, and probably what it tastes like, okay? Okay, that's how close they came. I'm sure his finger was doing something, all right? Because the makeout session was real. They got down in that makeout session, and them claiming that they never had sex, they did everything but. I believe they did everything but. Everything except his penis penetrating her vagina. All right? So that's where the lines are so fuzzy and have been crossed, because I think that is the only thing that they did not do. So that, I mean, they can stand on it and say, we didn't have sex, you know, but in some people's opinion, doing all the rest of that stuff, because notice I said I'm sure that he knows how she tastes, all that stuff is sexual relation, and that still is going to feel like betrayal, just because technically your penis did not enter her vagina. Olivia still has the right to feel betrayal, and she still has the right to scream, y'all had sex, because all of that is sexual relations. All of that relates to sex, okay? You can't get off on a technicality, and that is what they're trying to do, and that is just stupid to me. It's just really, really stupid. So, thank you guys so much for your support. Okay, I am going to ask that you click like and subscribe. And if you're new here and came here just for the Southern Charm, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I am venturing out of the Real Housewives tarot readings. So if you have any ideas, drop down in the comments below and let me know. All right, please click like and subscribe. Have a good day and be safe. Now, also, there are quotes sometimes that I like to put at the end of my readings, okay, that relates to the situation. This one comes to us from Lauren Conrad, and I really don't have an idea of who she is. Like, I saw a little picture, so I don't know if she's a good person, bad person. I don't know. But I like this quote. This quote says, some people are willing to betray years of friendship just to get a little bit of the spotlight. Okay? Taylor wanted to be highlighted as a victim, and I believe it blew up in her face, because she was going to Austin because he was woo-wooing her and telling her, you are a victim, you have a right to your feelings, and woo-woo, 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 as he was touching and feeling and stuff. It doesn't matter if she came on to him first. He did not push her away, all right? And Austin is a hater, okay? And he has always been a little envious of Shep, and he covets what Shep has. Shep had Taylor, so of course he covets Taylor and wants Taylor. All right? And Austin wants to be the highlight and spotlight of the Southern Charm show, and he's not. He's not. He's just not, and he will never be. Some people got it, and some people don't got it, and he don't got it. All right? All right. So anyway, click like, subscribe, and be safe. Bye.